The crypto industry's influence in Washington is growing. CNBC's Brian Schwartz out with a new piece detailing how crypto executives poured more than $30 million into political campaigns, since the 2020 election cycle. He joins us now to discuss. Brian, put this number in context for us. $30 million is a large amount, especially when you consider that Alphabet alone spent about $10 million on lobbying last year.
Yeah, you're right. It's a lot of money, and thanks for having me. It's a ton of money, really, when you look at how the crypto space has evolved into this lobbying juggernaut over the last few years. And it really has been since the election, we're talking about the presidential election, 2020 election, and through these 2022 midterms, where the donations have really skyrocketed, and so has the lobbying effort by the crypto space. They have gained a foothold in Washington. We have a lot of details of this story on CNBC.com. But the bottom line here is the money that we've seen go into political action committees and toward campaigns themselves has really led to a really boom in lobbying by crypto leaders, executives, and their representatives who have flooded Capitol Hill, who have flooded the halls of Congress with their priorities, as really lawmakers are trying to figure out how to regulate the crypto industry.
Well, Brian, I wonder, though, with crypto tanking the way it has been over the last few weeks and months, there are a lot of voters who've been burned here. So it's going to be interesting to see which wins out. Politicians who want to make their constituents feel better about, not taking that kind of risk, versus those who might end up getting hit, perhaps even in attack ads, with the suggestion that they've turned a blind eye to an issue that some lobbyists have wanted them to ignore.
Yeah, that's true. But there's another side of that coin as well here, right? I mean, that's really comes down to the questions of, do lawmakers on the Hill really understand crypto? I mean, this has been the ongoing discussion on Capitol Hill for a long time. I was speaking to somebody on the House Financial Services Committee, and, he gave me a really good statistic from his view, which is in his mind, based on the conversations he's had with people on that committee. It's a very powerful committee. It's about 54 members. His estimate was that only half of the people on that committee fully understand crypto. That is an amazing statistic. When you look at how with key powerful committee in the House, how it's question marks is if the people who are supposed to be putting these bills together or working on these things, if they really understand this business at all.
That is an amazing stat. I know CZ, the Binance CEO, told me not too long ago that he thinks there should be an entirely new regulatory body to understand crypto. In terms of the issue being partisan or not, Brian, I know there's, politicians on both sides of the aisle who either sort of believe in it or don't at all and say that it's riddled with scams. Any indication of where the money's going in terms of party lines?
Well, it depends on who you speak to and who you look at. When you look at somebody like Sam Bankman-Fried, a lot of his money, who is really the chief executive and leader at FTX, a lot of his money is going to a super PAC that has generally been helping Democrats. But there are other executives in his company who are also trying to help Republicans. So it really depends on where you look. Anthony Scaramucci, who's a big supporter of crypto, has also been involved with donations in these midterms. So it just depends on where their priorities land and what party they want to support.
Brian, it's a fascinating piece. Thanks for being with us. And that full piece is up on CNBC.com. Also, don't forget that you can watch Crypto World weekdays by going to CNBC.com/CryptoWorld. John?